Teardrops in my eye, country road.
On the Santa Root family farm up in Ham Lake,
well, welcome.
It was a September pig roast and outdoor picnic where volunteers, guests, and dignitaries gathered to mark a milestone.
Well, welcome to everybody that's here today on a very, very special occasion as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Bikes for Kids.
God bless you all for what you're doing. There's 70 of you passing out 12 or 1,400 bikes and a couple thousand to Africa to help with their agriculture. I mean, way to go.
Over the past decade, the organization has repaired and delivered thousands of bikes to kids and people in need.
We are the Robert and Wilma Burbach Bike Foundation.
That was Al Santarud speaking back in 2017, one of the founders of Bikes for Kids who provided the facilities for the operation.
It was several weeks before his passing, hardly anybody there.
The celebration, however, was bittersweet for the family and friends of Al. He died this past June at the age of 97.
For somebody who, could have just taken the easy retirement route, it gave him so much life.
Thank you. Here you are, Betty. Now.
In addition to Al's wife Betty and family, the guest list included over 60 volunteers who have helped reclaim used bikes, repair them, and get them in the hands of those in need.
It seems like we've kind of hit a plateau here at about 1,000 to 1,100 bikes. And that's not such a bad thing. I mean, you can only do just so much with the amount of facilities that you have.
Al Santarud and Bob Burbach and others were involved in loading up 2.5 containers of bikes to ship over to the Philippines.
Longtime volunteer Leroy Kerwick talked about the early days.
Al Santarud, who had a tremendous heart for kids and people in need. It was in his DNA.
Stories on how Al Santarud brought together dedicated men and women into Bikes for Kids.
And he said, "Say, I think you'd be interested in doing this." And so that's how I ended up coming here.
Locally owned bike shop Trailhead Cycling's Pam and Larry Saylor have been early partners with Bikes for Kids.
I know in that first batch we helped train some of their people a little bit to work on bikes.
The Santarud family says Bikes for Kids will continue to operate here on the family farm for some years to come.
I'm sure there's a little bit of regret that he couldn't be here, but I think he's just happy that it continues on with so many people.
For more information on Bikes for Kids, log on to their website, bikesforkids.org.
Voting is a basic democratic right in the U.S., yet for whatever reason, some still aren't registered to cast a ballot on Election Day. But National Voter Registration Day is a push to change that.
Each year it's the fourth Tuesday in September.
Linda Rogers has long been active in the local chapter of the League of Women Voters. She says it's important that everyone eligible to vote knows their registration status.
Sometimes we change addresses, names change, people don't vote at every election, and a person's name can drop off the voter registration rolls without them understanding that's happening.
National Voter Registration Day started in 2012 and takes place Tuesday, September 28th this year. Registration booths will be set up at both the Northtown Library as well as the Rum River branch. You can also go to mnvotes.org to check your status or to register. All you need is your driver's license or a state-issued photo ID. And while there's no federal or state elections this fall, there are some local races.
And in Coon Rapids, the Anoka-Hennepin School District has 3 school board seats that are open. Each one is contested. And they also have ballot questions that people will be asked to endorse or not.
According to the 2020 census, about 1 in 4 eligible Americans are not registered to vote, and 60% of people between the ages of 18 and 24 are unregistered. Rogers hopes more and more young people will do their civic duty and not take the right to vote for granted.
Well, I think that's the irony, because it's pretty rough and tumble out there right now. But the fact is that people have endured more than social discomfort in the past to gain the vote. So we need to plow through that, think about how we want to vote at the polls, and go ahead and do it.
Again, National Voter Registration Day is Tuesday, September 28th. Log on to mnvotes.org for more information or to register. Since 2012, more than 4.5 million people have registered to vote on National Voter Registration Day. Calling all pet owners and their four-legged friends, the Coon Rapids Love My Pet Fair returns this year after a break last year due to the pandemic. The fun takes place Saturday, September 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverview Park. There will be a pet parade, costume contest, smart pet tricks contest, games, and more. Pet vaccinations and licenses are also available for a fee, and plenty of vendors will have booths set up at the event. Well-behaved pets on a leash are invited, rain or shine. Here's your City Council recap for Thursday, September 9th. A new medical office building will be coming to the southern end of town. At Tuesday night's City Council meeting, JHM Properties received site plan approval for a two-story, 12,000 square foot medical office building off Springbrook Drive and Hawley Street, right next to the Quick Trip. The 1.9 acre site is currently undeveloped. The building will house a kidney dialysis clinic. We may have turned the calendar on summer, but water restrictions remain in place for the time being. The water emergency enacted June 18th forbids watering between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Also, the odd-even ban, which normally ends August 31st, has been extended indefinitely. That means homeowners with addresses ending in odd numbers can water on odd-numbered days, and even-numbered homes water on even-numbered days, but again, not between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The City Council has introduced some updates to the solar ordinance. The changes will allow for the commercial generation of solar energy by eliminating a requirement that all solar energy systems only provide on-site power. Also, a new category of solar energy systems is being added, which will allow for community solar gardens. In 2020 alone, 16 solar systems were installed in Coon Rapids. And that's your City Council recap for Thursday, September 9th. As always, you can find the full meetings on cable or the CTN YouTube channel.
Yasser is our new member, and I think I'll give Yasser the opportunity to introduce himself. And Yasser, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
In an effort to improve community relations between the police and the public, Coon Rapids Captain John Stanky organized the city's first Multicultural Advisory Committee.
The goal of the Multicultural Advisory Committee, or the MAC, is to promote cultural awareness and enhance communication and understanding between the police department and diverse cultures within our community.
Part of state law says that we have to get community feedback on our policy.
The idea for this group came from other police departments who've successfully used the advisory committee model. Coon Rapids has 16 community members and 6 from the police department.
We're trying to keep the numbers low because we want everybody to have a voice and have a chance to speak at each meeting.
I bring the perspective of a person that had to navigate whiteness.
Robert Murray works as an assistant principal at Coon Rapids High School. He joined the MAC last month and says it's important for the police to hear from people of all races and creeds living in the community.
I think that I can bring a different perspective for a person as a person of color, as a male, and as a person with a unique learning style on how the police can better connect with the community.
And I see him surrounded by cops with their guns out.
In a case of mistaken identity, Rebecca Anderson Fly recalled the horrific encounter between her biracial son and Minneapolis police.
I ran out of the house, this is my youngest, and I'm like screaming at them like, what are you doing to my baby?
Coon Rapids Police hope to build more empathy with the community through the advisory committee's monthly meetings.
Because there are some things that just don't make sense anymore.
The police department hopes to build more community trust through the advisory committee's monthly meetings.
This is a new endeavor, and it's already taken legs and grown, and it's going in places where we never envisioned a year ago when we first had the idea of the concept.
The freshmen at Coon Rapids High School aren't the only new faces in the building this fall. Cardinal Nation has a new leader, Principal John Pena.
Beginning of the school year has been great. You know, the staff here have been awesome.
Pena, along with the freshmen, got a taste of the new school year earlier this week.
We had a freshman orientation on Monday, and we had a group of staff that put on a great orientation for the kids. We had them all here pretty much. And that was the first time that I've seen the school, you know, filled with kiddos, right? And they just had a blast.
Pena, who grew up in New York and moved to Minneapolis as a child, is no stranger to the Anoka-Hennepin School District. It's where he started his journey in school administration following years of teaching. He spent the last decade as an assistant principal at Anoka Middle School for the Arts.
My theme, my philosophy is, you know, every kid should be loved, cared for, supported, and prepared for whatever they want to do in life. And the more connected they are to our system, I think the more likely they're going to be to succeed.
The married father of two knows he's the captain of the team, but the school ship is not his alone.
I always talk about, you know, people say, you know, you're building this, that, the other. It's not my building. You know, I'm a steward of the building, that's it. The building belongs to the community, to the families, to the students.
Much of the renovation work at Coon Rapids High School is now complete, including a new activities entrance and a new school store. Pena hopes school spirit will be strong this year and that families will join him and his team on the educational journey.
We want our families engaged and involved, and so I challenge all our families to, you know, come on up, visit your space. If something's going on at home with your kiddos, give us a call, let us know. You know, we don't know what we don't know, and we need you to help us support your kids.
The city has long sought a full access interchange onto 610 within the boundaries of Coon Rapids.
Dozens of residents turned out Tuesday night to learn more about the proposed project to create a full interchange at Highway 610 and East River Road. Design plans have been narrowed down to the three most feasible options: to add an off-ramp at East River Road for traffic on westbound 610 and an on-ramp for drivers at East River Road who want to head east on 610 towards Blaine.
It's important to get the public's feedback on the different alternatives so that we can bring that back as we look at the design details and the different costs and the issues and the components of what it would take to choose a recommended alternative.
This is the fourth open house for the project. Another one will likely take place once a design is chosen to get more feedback about specific impacts to surrounding businesses and homes and traffic concerns. Funding still needs to be secured, so the project is still several years away from becoming reality.